as coaches. And we'll see how we can. I'll try to share with you some very practical tips, some basic strategies where we can help ourselves as coaches in managing our finances and cash flows. So let's begin. A quick introduction. Umar has briefly introduced, uh, given some introduction about myself. This is it. I worked for these organizations at senior finance positions. I'm a professional certified coach with ICF. So that's a little bit about me. So let's start. And I will try to make our discussion as interactive as I could. So let's start with a question. What do you think, or what is your desired outcome of this meeting? Why are we here? Please feel free to unmute your mics or write something in the chat or however way you want to do it. Let's share with each other.
Well, I would like to say that I would really like to learn how to, monetize my coaching and learn the ways how to do it.
Great. Anyone else, please?
As a coach, we all have the same purpose to monetize our coaching.
Now, let me say, if I was to do coaching and nothing else but coaching, will I be able to sustain myself?
Perfect, Jibakhtar. So thank you very much. Okay, let's spend a few minutes and write it down on our notepads, the intention or the desired outcome of today's meeting in a brief statement or as a bullet point. Let's all do it. Wonderful, Ji. Let's begin. Okay, so let's share. I will coach you. I'll try to coach you all. So, what is the biggest financial challenge that you face as a coach? Let's share our experiences.
People do not give money.
People do not give money. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a common problem that we all face. What else?
How much?
Sorry, sir, please carry on.
How much to charge from each client, which the amount may differ from client to client, depending on circumstances. Yeah.
So how much to charge? Or Bakhtiar sir, if you allow me
per session. I'm talking about per session. Yeah.
Per session. So that's more like an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. What else?
How to attract high-ticket clients.
How to attract high-ticket clients. But that, Nairsa, would be a marketing thing, not a finance thing, right?
Okay, possibly, yes.
So what financial challenges do we face?
They're not willing to pay. They want to have, they want to have free advice, free ride, but they're not very keen to pay.
Yes, one more thing. How to understand or judge that how much a client can pay if you have a set rate, but how much a client can pay also.
How much can a client pay? Great. Okay, so far we have seen that clients are not willing to pay, clients do not pay, how to see how the clients can pay, and how to decide on the hourly rate. Great. So anything else?
Now show us the money.
The money. Where's the money? Great. So let's try to answer these. Let's see how we can address these challenges. But before we do that, there are some basic concepts that we need to be very clear about. And I'm sure we all are clear about this. So we all know what income is, right? We all know what profit is, and we all know what cost is. So cost is anything that goes out of our pocket. I'll make it very simple, no financial terms. So anything that goes out, all the money going out of the pocket is the cost. All the money going inside our pocket, coming inside our pockets is the income. And the difference between the income and the cost is profit, right? So are we all clear on these definitions, these concepts, right? Great. So let's do a deeper dive into what this really means for us as coaches. So when we talk about coaching, where do we earn our income from? Strictly from a coaching standpoint. So I have listed down a few things. If you could add, if you want to add more. So we earn from one-to-one coaching. We can earn from group coaching. We can deliver some paid trainings, some paid workshops. While we do all these things, we incur certain costs. We have some, we may subscribe to some coaching tools, for example. That's a cost. We study, we go for certifications, credentialing, that's a cost. That's an expense. Okay. And when we have to attract our clients, we have to do some marketing. We have to spend some marketing budget. That's our expense. We may be subject to taxes of the land where we operate. That's another expense. There may be some administrative costs. If we run a coaching office, if we have some, for example, printing and stationery, some designing work. So all these are expenses, and profitability is the difference between the income and expenses. So these are the basic concepts when we say how we operate as coaches. So income, there are some sources of income. Then we have some expenses, some ongoing expenses, some fixed expenses, some variable expenses. And the difference between these two is our profit. So let's do the activity. Let's bring the worksheet. If you can pull it in front of you. What we will do is there are four sections actually on the worksheet. On the first section, we will identify our income sources as coaches. Just think about your income sources, where you are currently earning or currently trying to earn your income from. Then identify your expenses, and then we'll see how much income can you earn, or are you earning at the moment, how much expenses are you incurring at the moment, what is your profitability. So let's do this quick exercise.
So by income, you mean that income from coaching only?
Income from coaching. So everything that we're talking now is from a coaching perspective.
So the question says that list your primary sources of income as a coach. So
Yeah.
if I do executive coaching or career coaching, so that would be my primary source?
Yes, that could be a primary source, or one-to-one coaching, or group coaching.
Mhm.
Okay, and when you're done listing your sources of income, please give a thumbs up. So Shubin has identified all the sources of coaching income. Wonderful. Excellent. Dr. Sahib has also identified all the sources of income. Excellent. Umair Sahib also has done his identification. Perfect. So I see a lot of thumbs up. Let's give, let's spend 1 more minute on this identification of revenue or income. Great. Okay, so let's go to step 2 now, section 2. Let's flip the coin now. Let's go to the expenses. So identify your top 3 business expenses, top 3 coaching business expenses, top 3 expenses that you incur in order to earn the primary source of revenue that you identified in section 1. You know, expenses will, what that expense will be?
So definitely what we are, putting in is on the certificates or credentials or doing trainings and all that.
Yes.
Put your money in.
Yeah. And probably marketing.
That too. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So give a thumbs up when you're done with this. Great. Jibakhtar Sab is done and Faiza is done. Okay, Ji. So let's move forward. So now I assume everyone has identified their primary sources of income as coaches, and the top three expenses that they are incurring in order to earn that income. Wonderful. Let's do some numbers, some high level numbers, no details required. In section 3, just put down an approximate number of what is your total monthly income from coaching? What is your total monthly expense on coaching? And what is your net profit? Just write down that numbers. Make the best guess. So this will be a total of section 1 will go into your monthly income, the total earning from all those sources. And the total expense from all the top 3 expenses will go into the second line, and then the difference will go into the third line. Great. And just give me a thumbs up when you're done. Great. So Shubin is done with the calculation. Wonderful. Great. So thank you very with me for these 3 steps. Let's uh, talk about something deep. What did you understand from section 3? When you look at the section 3, what comes to your mind? What is the first thing that you do you who would like to volunteer to share their thoughts?
I can go. Nobody
Yes,
can
please.
So, I think in section 3, I would be the first thing that comes into my mind is how to minimize my expenses as much as possible.
So how to minimize your expenses. Okay.
And also like having being double-minded about which expenses to
and how and being double-minded on what expense to cut from, right?
Yeah.
Great. Excellent
Yeah,
insight.
because every expense for
Yeah.
me looks like, it's important at the end. So I end up out, optimizing expenses were important.
All the expenses are important. Excellent. Wonderful insight.
Because
Please. Okay. Bakhtiar sir, would you like to share what comes to your mind when you look at few lines?
Yes, sure. I'm a little surprised because my expenses are much lower than I thought they would be as compared to the income.
That's wonderful. That's an ideal situation. We all need to attain, inshallah. Umar sir, would you like to share what comes to your mind when you look at those three lines?
Yeah, I think since coaching, I think none of us is approaching coaching as the sole bread earner. So there's a mix kind, for me at least, it is a mix kind of a thing that there are lots of other expenses are also happening. But then I have to classify it and focus it only for coaching. So when I see that most of my currently expenses are going for my own personal development of coaching, in terms of membership, retaining the membership, uh, uh, gaining those PDC points, attending those training programs where I could get PDC points. So my expenses are mostly on that area, which I would not like to curtail, of course, but I would have to. But then once the expenses are high, but those are productive expenses, and we need to see from that perspective also that those which are productive expenses that we can uh, that is a good investment, in fact. So if from the terms of our own investment also, we can look at this perspective, and then we have to work harder to get more
Wonderful.
coaching.
Very valuable insights. Yeah, my next question. When you look at those three lines, what do you improve? Neighbor, would you like to add anything?
I would like to add the importance of review, rather a monthly review, and being able to see what has been my pattern, let's say for the last 3 months, and what I would like to improve. So I
Excellent. Yes, Faiza, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to say that after reading these lines, I would just say that I need to stop spending money in my certification and work more on the marketing side to get more clients.
Excellent insight. So it appears that all of us, when we are looking at those three lines, we're gaining some useful insight, something about our revenue earning pattern and money spending pattern uh, in the coaching domain, right? So something is coming up for every one of us. Like Bakhtiar said, mashallah, that's the situation that we all strive to achieve. The coaching income is a much lower number than the expenses that they are incurring. Some of us will have an equilibrium in both numbers. So everybody has an insight. Now let's ask ourselves, what
Another thing which
change
I want to mention is I used to do a lot of training before. I reduced that. But when you're doing training and coaching both, then it is difficult to apportion your costs should it go there? Should it go over there? Because coaching and training expenses are quite similar. Your marketing, your certifications, and so on.
Yes. So thank you very much, Mukhtasar. That was a very useful insight as well. So now the next thing we need to ask ourselves is, this is what the current situation is. This is what we are doing right now. What change do we in this current situation? What what management strategy do we need to adopt in order to make these three lines more favorable for us as coaches? So that's a question, that's a food for thought, and we can work on that. So moving forward, how do we set our hourly rate? How do we calculate what one of the easiest way to do that is to start from a desired level of income. For example, if my target income is X amount, I give myself a target of earning X amount of dollars per month. And I know I need to work on how many hours can I coach per week, and then how many weeks are in a month. So if I divide my desired income by the product of the billable hours per week and multiply it with number of weeks in a month, I'll get my hourly rate, my desired hourly rate. But whenever we calculate the hourly rate or the rate for the session, we need to be very cognizant of two basic points, as someone has mentioned here as well. We need to see the affordability of our target market. We need to be very careful about what if I talk about myself, what my ideal customer would be willing to pay or can afford to pay. So that's a reality check. That's a mm, that's a consideration that we as coaches need to make based on the data available. The good thing is that all the data is available. We just need to find it out. So we can easily assess how much is the current affordability index of the market that I'm operating in. Another consideration that we need to also take into account is, in order to charge the desired hourly rate, we need to create some offering that my client would be willing to. So creating packages for your pricing as coaching packages. And that will determine better productivity, better profitability for the coach as well. Better understanding, better purchasability for the client, and better profitability for the coach. So the hourly rate calculated by working back the target income, dividing it by the billable hours per week, coaching hours, multiplied by the weeks in a month, that's the hourly rate. Then the affordability check, and then packaging it in a way that the coach maximizes the profit and the client gets the maximum benefit from that package. So that's a basic formula. Let's look into more into detail into this. So for example, if my target monthly income is $5,000 and I coach 5 hours per week, what should be my hourly rate? Because 4 weeks per month, 5 hours per week, my hourly rate should be $250. So if I'm able to successfully charge $250 to 5 clients, I will reach my target revenue or target monthly income. So that's how the formula works. And we can easily use this formula to calculate a mid-range, a high range, and a low range hourly rate by using this simple formula. Great. Any questions so far about this calculation?
I have a concern here. The calculation here looks or seems fairly simple, but there are some other adjustments or some market dynamics for the what do you call the geographical profile where you are taken into consideration, right?
Yes.
For instance, let's say I'm here in Saudi Arabia, and let's say my hourly rate, as per whatever, let's say this calculation turns out to be $250, right?
Okay.
So probably I may not be able to find clients who are able to pay 250. So maybe I may have to adjust my rate based on some local dynamics, right? Or
Definitely.
maybe I need to move somewhere else, right?
So if you remember, we talked about the affordability index. So for the first thing, after calculating the rate, we need to assess the affordability index. And then going back to your question, if your rate seems higher than the affordability index of your market, then you might need to reconsider your target monthly income, because that's the primary driver of your hourly rate. If that cannot be revised, that's the fixed number that you have to achieve, then you need to look at your billable hours. So if you're only coaching 5 hours per week, then you might need to increase those hours. So when your number of hours go up, your rate goes down. Similarly, you may also want to consider that you coach. So higher the number, higher your total revenue, and lower the hourly rate. So there are so many dynamics that you can play with in order to arrive at that number which your clients or your target market can afford to pay, and then that's where you can place yourself in a market in your market where clients will want to buy your services. So I hope to have answered your question, Naivar.
Umair sir, there is another, perhaps if you'll talk about that or not, but I think that's a different subject altogether. There is a psychological impact of the pricing also. Uh,
Yes.
we are basically part of one of the largest membership group around the globe. Uh, we want to position us as people who have attained that kind. I mean, that's perhaps that's our thinking. People outside the fold of ICF may not be thinking that way, but I would like to think it this way, that we as ICF members, credential holders, we have a special market. So in that sense, how we can position ourselves in terms of putting our hourly rate, so that you see, if thing is very cheap, it's like Mercedes versus Suzuki Mehran. So both are the cars, but it is the comfort, it is the name attached to that, it is the brand attached to that. Mercedes, it is, I mean, Mercedes is just for few people who can enjoy that, who want to enjoy that kind of a luxury. Suzuki, Mehran, or Cultus is for everyone. So they are serving the same outcome, but then they are giving a, one is for niche market and one for the other. So how that equation can fill into this hourly rate, or should we do that?
Wonderful. Yes. So the answer to your question is in the last sentence you spoke. So what Mercedes does is Mercedes sells it to the people who can afford to buy a Mercedes, right?
Mm,
People who can afford a Mehran or an Alto on an installment plan.
mm,
So that's a trick. When you're an ICF credential holder, you need Ajib Akhtar, sir.
Yeah, sorry, you lose them that instant. He was trying to sell the Mehran to a Mercedes guy. So I experienced this. I mostly done executive coaching, and there you have to keep a certain amount hourly rate. Otherwise, they think I'm not serious or I'm not qualified.
mm,
Yes. So that credential that you hold is linked with the premium price that you charge, and then of course you need to be very careful in deciding or defining your target market, because if you're selling Mercedes to a guy who can afford an Alto on an installment plan, then you're placing yourself in the wrong market.
Yeah.
So these two things go hand in hand.
True.
What you are mentioning must go in hand with charging a premium rate, and that should be placed at the right place
I
too.
must add a word of warning. To stay there in that market, you got to do a lot of hard work and take a lot of tension, keeping yourselves there, you know.
Wonderful. Yes, I cannot agree more, Muftasa, with you. So the bottom line is that this is the basic formula where you can play around, calculate your hourly rate, define your target income, have a mid-range hourly rate, a higher premium rate, and a lower rate for. You may also want to do some CSR initiatives for a lower rate, but then the choice is yours. You do the calculation, come up with a number, and then that's a number that you will go take into the market for your client to choose from. Thank you very much for your inputs. Okay, so when we have spoken about the cost and profitability and income, what comes next is the cash flow. We provided coaching, we earned some money, we have to make some expenses, we need to know how much are we earning, but how do we manage it? So money in and money out is what is the most important thing to understand and practice when we talk about finances. So money coming in, money going out. That's the whole summary of what is happening when we are coaching people and when we are investing in ourselves, our marketing and stuff. So there are so many ways to track your cash flows. For example, we're all familiar with Google Sheets. Google Sheet is the very basic tool, or Microsoft Excel, the very basic tools to track your expenses and track your incomes. There's so many ways to do it. We will not go into detail, but we can use two sheets. Like Wave is a very basic software you can try. It's very easy to use, very user friendly. And there are so many other tools where you can just input your numbers and it will do all the calculations, all the analytics, it can give you so many reports showing you the trends, like what have you been doing, what if you continue to do this, this will happen. So many analytics on this. So just choose any tool that helps you track that is usable for you. And there are so many other tools. You can talk to me one-on-one, and I can recommend many, many more tools. As Nair Bhai had mentioned about the review, one of the best ways to track your cash flows is to have a periodic review. However you want to do it, set a frequency and make it a habit to track what is coming in, what is going out, where is the gap, how can you fill it, where can you improve. So by doing this periodically, you will see that your cash flows start getting better. So make a habit of reviewing your cash flows and doing reflection on what is going on. And whenever required, make necessary adjustments or changes to your pricing strategy. The hourly rate that you calculate is not something which cannot be changed. You need to decide. You need to decide on how to manipulate, or manipulate might not be the right word, but how to fluctuate that rate according to your best benefit as a coach. Because if you're not comfortable with your cash flows in your coaching business, then probably you're not doing, you're not being able to motivate yourself enough to become a good coach or give value to your client. So always be on a watch for your pricing strategies, your hourly rates, your coaching packages, how to place them in front of your clients. So all these things. So if I summarize all this, use some useful tool to track your cash flows and make it a habit. Review it periodically and make all the necessary adjustments as and when required to your pricing strategies. Adjust your rates according to what your clients wants to pay. And then work out your numbers and then just do it. Some more tips for strategizing your stable cash flows. One of the very important thing is to diversify your income stream. If you stick to just one income stream, you might end up being in a cycle of where your income would be less than your expenses, because I mean by more income streams is um, divide your income into, for example, one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So these are your two different income streams. Someone may want to be a relationship coach and a career coach. So these are two different streams of income. So for example, in a relationship coach, a coach might have clients who are couples, husband and wife. While providing career coaching, it might be a group. So diversify yourself into at least more than one, at least two different streams where you are able to charge two different rates and play with those numbers in terms of number of clients so that your revenue is maximized. Always keep an emergency fund with you from the income that you're earning. Do not spend all of it. Keep something for the rainy day. So many of us, while we coach online, we have to pay for example, Zoom subscriptions or similar amounts similar to that. So it's always advisable to keep a fund for at least 6 months of your necessary expenses, your essential expenses. So that while you do that, it will give you a peace of mind where you can now focus on the delivery of your coaching service, so that your client gets more satisfied, and then they spread your service through their word of mouth. So always have an emergency fund. You can also consider a certain percentage of your income to reinvest into something that will grow your coaching business. Maybe your digital marketing, maybe your team up with another coach, something, hire another coach for delivering a higher value to your clients. So just be creative about it. Something that will help you add value to your coaching business. So a certain percentage of the coaching income goes. A very important last point is we need to have contingency planning. We need to understand how can we avoid a feast or famine cycle. Feast or famine cycle means we have some months with a high number of clients with very good income, and then we have months or periods when we have no clients at all. So we need to come up with some creative strategies where we do not end up in that cycle, right? So by adopting these, and there are many more strategies that we can adopt, we can work on, so that we can achieve a stable cash flow from our coaching business. Yes, Nayuri.
I would like to add something over interesting as well as, and that is filling the pipeline. So consider pipeline is like this. Imagine this is your coaching box. So this is where you coach. So there's pipeline feeding this coaching box, and there are people who are being coached. They go outside, right? So we as coaches, we need to make sure that there's always something in pipeline. Means always we have few leads that we can always materialize and bring them so that we can coach and we can continue, or we can have a perpetual cycle. So so keep watching the pipeline. So whenever the pipeline goes low, that means you need to beef up your marketing efforts, do some workshops or anything, so that you again put something in the pipeline, right? So make sure that the pipeline is always filled. See, that whenever we use the faucets in our home, there is water in the pipe. Water is dry and there's nothing in the pipe and nothing comes out in the faucet, right? So the same applies here as well. So this is what I found useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very, very valuable share. So these and many more strategies we can work on. Okay. So let's reflect. Let's ask ourselves a question. Do you currently track your cash flows regularly? Yes or no?
No, not really.
Great. Let's start doing it today. And just by by just tracking your cash flows, you will see a significant positive difference in your overall profitability. So let's start doing it if you're not already doing it.
You see, Umair, just for a quick feed for everyone else also, I developed an Excel sheet on that for that, and I keep on entering. Since you see, those of us who fill our annual income returns, at the end of the financial year, it becomes really terrible to collect all the information that we have. So Excel sheets are very useful into that, and I keep on every expense and every income that is coming, and if we could be so disciplined that I usually do that I put everything in Excel and that it calculates itself, and at the end it takes me just few hours to fill up my income return, tax returns basically.
That's so much. So maybe we can have a session on that. You can train us all on that.
Yes.
Is that shareable? No?
Yes, I can give you a template for that. That's basically all the
Yeah, please.
relevant income stream expenses that you have. So that's interesting thing, in fact.
You just hit our pain point, everyone's pain point. Wonderful. So let's ask ourselves, one financial strategy can we implement immediately that will help us get a better equilibrium on our profitability? Just ask ourselves. We can think about it. We can just note it down. We can brainstorm about it, and let's just start doing it. Whatever works for any one of us. And there is no, as we say in coaching, there's no single formula that fits all. Everyone can have a different strategy. Everyone can have a different way to do it. But the important thing is that let's do it. Let's make some small change that will help us improve our cash flows. So that was all from my side. I would love to hear anything that was valuable for you today.
Good. I think all the things that basically somehow most of the things remain in our head. So whenever we do such exercise, things come on paper, and you and when a coach or a trainer asks you to specifically do that, uh, that things go into onto paper that gives the picture. This is a very clear picture, in fact, of what we are doing. So these things do help, in fact. Yes. Thank you very
So
much.
the most valuable thing for me while I was talking with you was that we all must track everything that we do. Without tracking, we don't know where we are and we don't know where we want to be. So that's how I looked at it. So it was a very good reminder for myself as well.
So they say that what gets mired gets done.
Yes.
So if we start miring, I mean, we are looking like more of the capitalist kind of thing, more of the capitalist angle, all the time counting the money. We don't count the money, but we keep a track of that money that we have. So how it is, where it is flowing, and how it is flowing. That's remains a good strategy, in fact. So
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
at least we know where we are and we know where we want to be and we know the gap.
Mm, mm.
True. Thank you. It was so valuable because we all had this in our mind somewhere, but from today, we'll be more conscious how we need to keep a track, plan effectively.
Great. So we are already at 7, and if there is any question, any questions from anyone to Umair, or any suggestions for our programs?
Yes. And you
So
can just scan this QR code and you can send me a text or voice message anytime. I'll be available to answer any questions even after this meeting is over.
great. So thank you
If
very much.
Umair
Yeah.
has some time, I would just like to ask what is the advice you would have for somebody who is who has recently entered the field? How, what have been your learnings? You've had so much experience.
If I understood your question correctly, you're asking advice as a senior coach to a new entrant into the coaching industry.
Yes.
Great. I would rather request senior coaches like Umar and Bakhtiar Saab if they could add something. I don't consider myself to be a very senior coach.
I think I point towards Bakhtiar Saab. He is the senior most. I am also a new entrant.
Putting me on the spot. I would say don't get discouraged. Keep at it. Whenever you get a client, just think that client is the most important thing in your world, because he or she will lead to other clients. Word of mouth.
Excellent advice.
Wonderful.
Correct. Yeah.
I would just add one more thing to what Bakhtiar Saab just said. Know what you are doing and love it. And always be coaching. Just remember ABC. Always be coaching.
Very
Okay, I
good.
had not heard of that before. Thank you for that.
And we also say, once a coach, always a coach. You can't escape it once you get the experience. You're at a party, you talk to somebody, you're always coaching. You're not telling, you are asking, you are helping.
When I started coaching, my
So,
wife,
Saab
in
has-
fact, started telling me, I started asking questions to her, and she said, "Why are you asking so many questions now?" So, so whenever anything
that resonates.
everything was happening, and I was
Yeah,
asking questions, why it happened, why it happened, how, when, where.
but my daughter is clever. She occasionally says, "Abba, stop coaching me." I said, okay.
Dear Saab probably has a question or he wants to add something.
I would like to add one simple thing is that be consistent in the efforts, and what you're doing, keep doing, and be visible to people. So in a few months, you'll start seeing visible difference. Inshallah, that is guaranteed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much,
I would just
everyone.
like to I would just like to add that this is a heavy session for me at least, but it was an enlightening one of coaching from the business perspective point of view, and it was enlightening, and I'm definitely going to work on it the way Umair Saab has taught us, or gave a lot of information about all the finances, and it's working. So it was a great session, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for giving that
Okay, so
information.
thank you very much, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
joining in. And I think those who
you.
are here, all others have left. So all of us are already in that group. So I think what we do is in the next month would
Okay.
be Ramadan, and we'll see if we can do a speaker session or we can do our own meeting, internal meeting. So that's we will decide within our group later, and that's how we'll go. So, but the speaker session is also open for everyone. Those who wish to say something, present something, they can always ask us, and you can come and do the speaker session. So. Again, thank you very much. Take care. Have a lovely weekend and have a lovely
Okay.
Ramadan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Max.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Khuda
assalam.
Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.